let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought, a touchdown mind. Out of the box every time. No limits, no chains, no walls to climb. We're rewriting the rules in real time. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. No limits, no chains, no walls to climb. We're rewriting the rules in real time. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. Every shot's a story, every cheer's a spark. Under the lights we make our mark. Beyond the scoreboard, beyond the lines. Out of the box, redefining the grind. The grind. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way.
What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to the Silver and Black Lair. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry, a.k.a. Raider Batman. I hope everybody's doing well this fine and fantastic Thursday morning here on the East Coast. It's 20 after 9 already. So out there on the West Coast, it's early as shit. So today's show is brought to you by our good friend, everybody's good friend, Jason Fine, attorney, Big Al. You can reach Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations currently. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. His office in New Jersey is located in Cherry Hill on 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. He has 2 offices in Pennsylvania, one in Pittsburgh, 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And in Philadelphia, 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. And the phone number there is 267-888-2980. That's Jason Fine, attorney, Big Al. If you reach out to Big Al, make sure you let him know that you're a part of the Out of the Box Sports family, and he'll hook you up with a great deal. So there you go. There you have that. Let's get to it here. So tough week for our Raiders. It really was. And there was some positive out of it, a lot of negative. And the Chargers are a good team. I will say that. I'll give them their props. They're a good team. They looked good. And but the Raiders had them. And I'll tell you that, not, just being one of those type of fans where, we had them kind of guys, you were lucky to get away. It was 20-9. Okay. It was 20-9. And it didn't really even feel that close. But even with the score being 20-9, in our offense looking like garbage, hot trash, there was opportunity at the end of the game for the Raiders to either make it a lot closer or even get in there and pull out a victory. So it was there for the taking at the end. They were lucky to be within striking distance, but unfortunately, the offense being where it was in this game, it just it wasn't meant to be. So we'll get him again later on in the season and see if maybe things are clicking a little bit better than what they were this past Monday night. The bummer of it is well, it was Monday Night Football, and it was the premier game. It was the game. It was a late game, 10 o'clock. So the people on the East Coast probably weren't up watching it, but it was the game on TV and national broadcast, and it just didn't. The offense didn't show up. The defense again, I thought played decent. They played. I think the defense played well enough to win. I really do. A couple big plays here or there, and that kind of separated it. It's some miscommunications in the secondary, perhaps. You got a couple guys that aren't really used to playing with each other, or even playing that much. So it's stuff that can be cleaned up. But overall, I thought the defense played well. Max Crosby was awesome. He played terrific, even at a huge forced fumble there in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, to give the Raiders another opportunity to try to claw their way back in, and it just wasn't meant to be. So, who else? Jonah Lualu, a couple sacks. I thought he played well. The run defense, I thought they played well again. The linebackers, I feel like they played well in the run defense, and somewhat bottling up Justin Herbert. I say somewhat because he did get out there and scamper a little bit and did make some plays with his legs and in the passing game. Uh, he looked good. He looked good, and when he's healthy, he is very good. But he does get banged up. He does have a tendency to get hurt a lot. He's very injury prone. So we'll see where he's at later on in the season when the Raiders meet up with him again. So looking back at the scoring, first quarter, the Raiders lose the coin toss. Chargers defer to the second half. So the Raiders receive the ball here in the first half. In the very first play, Geno throws an interception. An unfortunate play. Ball's tipped right into the hands of the Charger defender. I don't remember who it was exactly. I didn't write it down either. So I don't know Chargers players from a hole in the ground, to be honest with you, except for Khalil Mack. Of course, we love Khalil still. At least I do. Anyway, I'm a big Khalil Mack fan, and I talked about him just recently. When the Cowboys traded away Parsons to the Packers, some Cowboy fans decided to change their colors basically. And, my sentiment to that was always silver and black. It's who I am, and when you're a Raider fan, you'll always be a Raider fan, and that's how it should be when you have a team, when you pick your team at a young age usually. That's you choose to support them, and it's through thick and thin. I bleed silver and black. With football, hockey, also silver and black, and baseball, I bleed orange and blue. So that's just it, just the way it is. And but I said my Micah Parsons was Khalil Mack. When the Raiders traded away Khalil Mack, I was shocked. I was stunned, as much as Raider Nation was, and I was pissed off. And but I'm still a Raider fan, and he's killed us every time we faced him. So, and Monday night wasn't any different to a certain extent, as Khalil Mack did go down with an injury. I believe it was in the first quarter, but not after he already had a sack on us. But anyway, getting back to the game here. So Geno throws the interception, ball's tipped, picked off, and it was great coverage. It really was great coverage. Poor read by Geno, and he had time. The thing was, he had time, and he tried fitting it in a small window, and it wasn't working out. But the Raiders defense does a good job. Hold the Chargers to a field goal. That made it 3-0. Dicker had a 38-yard field goal as a 4-play, 5-yard drive. So again, good job by the defense. Go out there, stiffen up, and hold the Chargers to 3. The Raiders bounced back a little bit later on, tied up 3-3. Daniel Carlson, 54-yard field goal as a 10-play, 42-yard drive. And anytime the Raiders had a long drive, it was one of those 10-plus play drives, but not a lot of yards to it. 10 plays, 42 yards. That's seems a little bit, 4.2 yards per play. That's very time consuming, and early in the game, that's fine. But you want to be able to get some more chunks, and you want to be able to push the ball down a little bit less than that when you're looking for points. When you're trying to protect the lead, 10 plays, 42 yards, that's a good drive. You're bleeding the clock, but when you're trying to put points on the board early in the game and kind of get ahead, it's not what you want. I mean, I guess another way to look at it, 10 plays, 42 yards is also keeping the ball out of the Chargers' hands early on. But so a little bit later in the first quarter to finish the first quarter out, like a minute and something to go, I think it was, the Chargers scored a touchdown, made it 10-3. Keenan Allen, dirty son of a bitch, Keenan Allen. Oh my God, I hate seeing that guy in a Chargers uniform again so bad. And the Raiders decided not to cover him on Monday night. Big play after big play for Keenan Allen. My God, when he caught that touchdown pass, I just like, son of a bitch, Keenan Allen. Yeah, I'm a Mets fan, and it's whenever I see Freddie Freeman up, it's like, goddamn Freddie Freeman, Jesus, Freddie freaking Freeman, man. Keenan Allen is that guy. So it's you just know he's going to make a big play. You just know he is. Just like when the Raiders play Kansas City, you're waiting for Travis Kelce to have 4 touchdowns. It just feels like it's there. Oh, son of a bitch, I hate Travis Kelce. Oh my God, nothing against Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift. I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but I respect Taylor Swift. Travis Kelce, he can suck it. So anyway, and that made it 10-3 to finish up the first quarter. Now that I have had released my hatred for Travis Kelce and my loathing of Keenan Allen. So in the second quarter, the Raiders crept a little bit closer. Daniel Carlson, another field goal, made it 10-6. 40-yard field goal, 11 plays, 43 yards. Again, kind of like just the drive they scored on before. Long drive, not a lot of yards to it, but just kind of plodding along, taking what the Chargers are giving them. Gino's trying to shove the ball into tight holes, tight windows, tight spots. It's just not happening. And he's missing, and he was also missing wide open guys. Late in the second quarter, this one hurt a lot. Touchdown, Quentin Johnston, 60-yard pass. Made it 17-6. Like, again, late in the first half there. I think after they scored, it was a minute and something to go. 5 plays, 91 yards. That's a tough one. That was a tough one. And trying to thinking back to that, I feel like that might have been the play where Max, one of the 2 plays, Max dropped back in coverage. No real push. It's kind of like a mush rush almost, trying to just keep Justin Herbert in the pocket so he's not out making plays with his legs, but still you need to put pressure on the quarterback. And threw it deep. Quentin Johnston wide open. A little bit of a miscommunication. Defensive backfield. Not really sure who it was, if it was Palomau or who was the defensive back. It was shit, I don't remember. But just you could see that there was a switch off that didn't happen, and it was just too late. You couldn't catch up with them with Quentin Johnston. And that put the Raiders into a big hole there at halftime. It would have been nice to go down 10-9 or 10-6, go into halftime like that, or even 13-6, feeling good about yourself. But 17-6 right there at the end, that was a tough one. Knowing the Chargers are coming out with the ball to start the second half, that was tough. Got a comment here from ASAP Hood Goat. I assume that's a goat. I'm not really sure, but that's the best goat I got. Yeah, bah. Maybe that's it. Something like that. But or is that a laugh? Bah. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It says too early though. Y'all Raiders knew Bolts had a better overall team. Yeah, and you know what? I'm not going to deny that 100%. Chargers are a very good team. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they don't win the AFC West. I don't really. I feel like they're the better team. They're better than the Ponies. And obviously, Monday Night Football, they're better than the Raiders. And and they've beaten the Chiefs already. So, and I could be wrong, but I feel like maybe the Chargers have the Broncos up next. So if they do, that'd be three AFC West opponents in a row to start the season. They could really take a stranglehold of the division if they're able to sweep the three uh, AFC West opponents in a row like that. That'd be a hell of a step forward for the Chargers. But I wouldn't be shocked if they won the West, and of course they do what they usually do: get to the playoffs and choke. So, I mean, but I can't talk because the Raiders don't make the playoffs. So, what am I gonna say? Eileen says, "Hello, hello, Eileen. Good morning." ASAP says, "Look up Rich Eisen or Rich, yeah, Rich Eisen saying we didn't need to win by much." Uh, it's a goat. Okay, it's a goat. Wah ha ha. Okay. When like I didn't like again. I'm looking at that, like looking at your name there, and I'm like is it like laughing like bah ha ha ha? Is it bah like like a lamb or a goat? I wasn't really sure, but hey, I'm all down with the banter and the clever screen names. I like that. I'll do goat noises all day. I'm down with that. He says, "You a good OG, Mr. Raider Duds, Mr. Raider Dude. I'm sorry. Uh, you can tell you're a humble dude with a good heart. This not acting some type of way. Uh, there's some Raiders that get sentimentally offended with the smallest things. And you know what? It's being a realist. You got to take you got to recognize what you're seeing on the field. And I'm not one of those guys that are I'm going to break down film or whatever. I understand the game and I understand what looks good and what looks like trash. And I'm not going to say the Raiders looked like trash on Monday night. They definitely did not look good. I mean, Gino looked terrible trying to fit the ball in the small windows. The defensive backfield of the Chargers were so good. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I that's probably the best secondary I've seen the Chargers had in many years. And I could be wrong with that, but I thought they were fantastic. There was nothing for Gino. There was nothing. Granted, Gino didn't have a lot of time. You got to give credit to the front four of the Chargers. They occasionally bring in pressure, but I don't even think they really needed to bring pressure. The Raiders' offensive line, especially the middle there with Jordan Meredith at center. Dylan Parham had a terrible game. Alex Cappa looked awful filling in for JPJ. Things need to change there, and I feel like they will change coming up soon here. But it's it wasn't good at all. It was offensively, it was not a good showing. And what are you going to do? Yeah, Ashton Genty, only getting the ball, only getting I think it was 11 carries, 43 yards. It's not good. It's not one. It's not enough. Two, it's not good. It's not good enough. He did have a 13-yard carry. He did truck somebody from the secondary from the Chargers, but besides that, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to speak about with Genty either. So he needs the ball. He needs the ball more. He needs to carry more, and we'll see what happens this week coming up against the Commanders. Is he going to get the ball more often? Pete Carroll's on record saying that he's comfortable with giving Genty 10 carries a game right now. And it's something I talked about when the Raiders drafted Genty. I said, you look at his senior season there at Boise State or whatever, I don't know if it was junior or senior season at Boise State, the dude touched the ball a lot. And I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on some sort of pitch count, to use the baseball reference. I mean, it only makes sense. Running backs, they're on I don't want to say a carry count, but every carry they have in the NFL is like another chink in the armor, and there's only so many you can take before they start breaking down. And do you want to save those chinks in the armor until I should watch what I'm saying? I'm going to get canceled. Are you gonna those dings to the armor? Are you gonna save those dings in the armor till like the second half of the season? Maybe for a push if you're still kind of lingering around, or is he gonna go his full rookie season, uh, 10, 15 carries per game? I don't think it's gonna be that. I feel like it's gonna be the latter. I feel like it's gonna be something where we see the first 4, 6, 8 weeks where he's only getting 10 to 15 carries a game, 10 to 15 touches. That's carries and receptions included. But then I feel like maybe the second half of the season you're going to see a little bit more. Maybe not to the point of 25 touches, but you're going to see more of like 15 to 20 touches. That's carries and receptions. So I think that's just what we're going to see with Genti. But here's the other thing with it. Chip Kelly, talking about dynamic offenses here. I don't want to see Geno Smith throwing the ball 43 times. The game wasn't that out of hand where we had to continue passing the ball. There was no reason to see Geno pass the ball 40 plus times in this game. Again, he threw 40 plus times against New England, threw 40 plus times against Los Angeles Chargers. Why? We have other running backs. Give the ball to Zamir White. Give the ball to Dylan Labe. I don't understand it. But I'm not an offensive play caller. I'm just a schmuck here, doing a tiny podcast for nothing. It's not like I get paid for it, but it's just it's stuff that I don't understand. I'd like to know the why, and I haven't heard anybody ask it yet. I've heard people complain that Genti's not getting enough carries. Well, okay, if he's not getting the 20 carries, what about the other guys? You could still wear down a defense. With Genti getting 10 carries and Zamir White getting 10 carries and Labe getting 5 carries. I mean, like, again, the game wasn't that out of hand. It wasn't 20-0 or wasn't 28-0 or anything like that where you had to continually pass the ball. The Raiders defense was bending, but they weren't breaking to the point where you felt like it was getting out of hand. So, again, why? I got a couple more comments here. From ASAP. Real quick, you'll have to forgive me when I'm reading these comments. They're really tiny on my screen, and I am not wearing my glasses, and so I'm kind of squinting, and some of the words are running together. It says, "You coming off correct, OG. Y'all team looking might find for all I know, next year with some trenches, both sides, and some secondary with the incoming draft, y'all might be set." And it is, they're not that far off. You're definitely right, ASAP. They're not that far off. I feel like they're a lot closer than were last season with Antonio Pierce and the season before with Josh McDaniels. There's a couple pieces, and offensive line is definitely a huge piece. Jackson Powers Johnson at guard, even though he didn't play this past Monday night. It's not going to happen. I don't think that's where he should be. I feel like he should be at center. Looking back last season, he played the first 7-8 games, whatever it was. His first 7-8 games. He did miss the first few weeks due to injury at guard. And then he finished the season off last 5-6 weeks, whatever it was, at center. And the offensive line played much better with him at center. Move him to center, move Meredith back out to guard, or even look to the rookie at guard as well. But I think JPJ needs to be at center. I think that would clear up any sort of miscommunication because that's the position he played in college. That's the position that he was drafted, that he was an All-American at. That was the position he was drafted at. He was drafted as a center. Why he's at guard, I don't know. I don't get it. But that's again, who am I? I didn't win a Super Bowl as a coach. Trying to find a deep root cause is not on Genti. Absolutely not on Genti. You're right, ASAP. The line struggling, absolutely. And Genti's pass protection ain't the best. No. And I feel like that's either still a communication thing with the offensive line with Genti, Ashton Genti missing a couple blocks there in the pass protection, or it's just an experience. You're seeing a lot more difficult blitzing schemes in the NFL than you might have seen in college, especially at Boise State. You're not week in and week out facing, the Michigans or Ohio States or whatever, where you might see a little bit more technical schemes or whatever. Boise State is a big, big time school in college football, but not to the point where you're seeing pro style defenses and pro style defenders week in and week out. I like Genti being a Christian because dude has been loyal, like Boise State. Yeah, I agree there. You ain't a smack, homie. You a realist, which is chill. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that very much, and I really appreciate you commenting. Even just being 100% honest. It's refreshing seeing somebody that's maybe not a fan of your team. Just coming out with some real talk. Just not out there just smack talking, but just giving out some real vantage points and real opinions instead of just shit talking. And you don't need it all the time. Sometimes it's a little bit fun, but you don't need that all the time. You're just looking at it, what's wrong with the team, and it's neat to see different viewpoints from the teams that you might have played from fans. There's like you guys need this and this, like ASAP did earlier, saying the interior isn't all that good, and maybe the secondary needs a little bit more. And again, it's the turnover in the secondary on the defense as a whole, but the secondary is a whole new secondary when you look at it. The only one that actually technically returned as a starter was Paul Amau, and he was only a starter last week, the last 2-3 weeks of the season. So but everybody else is new to each other, and some of these guys are just picked off the trash heap as has-beens, and maybe still could be's. So hit the likes for the OG. Thanks, I appreciate that very much, buddy. Yeah, everybody hit the likes. I appreciate it. Share it out ASAP. Again, thank you very much for checking out the show. I appreciate it. And good luck to the Chargers. I'm telling you, I really do think the Chargers are going to win the West, and I wouldn't be overly surprised if they make a run in the playoffs. They look solid if they can keep Herbert healthy, and with the offensive line, I thought the offensive line looked very good. There was a couple times put a little bit of pressure on Herbert, but he was able to escape that. And you saw Max, as much as everybody loves Max. I love Max. He does this a lot. He's so key to get to the quarterback. Sometimes he takes that ride straight up field, which leaves that huge gap between the defensive end and defensive tackle for the quarterback either to step up and make a nice pass because he has a clear passing lane, or to step up and just run. And a couple times in that game Monday night, you seen him get upfield way too high. They rode him out of the play, and Justin Herbert was just able to step up into the pocket there, clear lane, clear passing lane. They're able to wash out Booker, Lualu, and Adams, just like wash them out, and there's just a huge pass lane or a running lane for Justin Herbert, and most of the time he threw it. So there was a touchdown pass to I want to say it was the touchdown pass to Keenan Allen. I feel like he was able to step up in the pocket because Max Crosby got too far upfield. Instead of having a contained rush, keep Herbert inside the pocket, make him step up into the defensive tackles, and he had too much room. And I feel like that's just because he got upfield and the rush wasn't contained, and Max does that, and you got to take the good with the bad with Max. There's a lot more good than there is bad. It's just there's sometimes it's got to say, settle down there, fella, contained rush, push the tackle back towards the quarterback, make the quarterback step up into the mess in the front, and let the chubby guys in the middle take care of it. But ASAP says, I'm going to spread the word for everybody. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. I'll get the word out of the box sports entertainment. I got you with the Raiders. Absolutely. And, check out all the other shows out of the box sports entertainment. We have a whole slew of them. I do a Mets show called The Bat Cave, New York Mets. Chargers formerly of San Diego. The Mets lost last night to the San Diego Padres. There's another team that's scary good. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a playoff run. They have the lineup. They have the pitching. They freaking have the bullpen. The bullpen's amazing in San Diego. But anyway, there's they got a Cowboy show, Giants show, NFC East War Room, talking NFC East football. We have hosts from each team that are up on there. And if there's anybody out there that wants to host their own show, Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, anybody across the NFL, reach out to us, let us know, and we will get you started. So yeah, out of the box sports entertainment. I appreciate it very much. ASAP says we need unity, man. Just want to see some playoffs versus y'all on the post. Thanks. Yeah, the postseason is a stretch for the Raiders yet, and it's been a long time coming. And the thing is, as a Raider fan, with the past the 20 plus years of of either mediocrity or worse than mediocrity. It's you're looking for consistency, something that we haven't had since the first Gruden run before he was traded to Tampa Bay. There we had year in and year out consistency, and you can kind of see a method to the madness. But after that, there hasn't been a coach in place long enough to have any sort of consistency. You can't see what they're building when they're only there a year or two, and it's just year in and year out. It's the same song and dance. It's really tough. I really thought the second coming of Gruden, I could start seeing the team develop into what he was envisioning until the whole email scandal thing or whatever he got going on there with the racism and just a whole bunch of nonsense stuff he shouldn't have been doing, and stuff that probably shouldn't have been leaked either. So two wrongs don't make a right, but both the NFL and John Gruden were wrong, and the Raiders were right by releasing him. It sucks because you kind of seen he was starting to build something, then you have the next guy come in and tear it down. It's a slap in the ass uh, to have it continue to happen. But I really do feel like the Chargers, 11-win season last year. I feel like you're looking at 11 or maybe more this year, and it's just going to be again, if everybody stays healthy, it's going to be a nice run for him in the playoffs. And we did see Khalil Mack go down in that game with a nasty arm injury. I thought for sure he was done for the season. The arm was bent all kind of weird. And but I did see a report, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, saying that it may only be a few weeks. If he's only out for a few weeks, that's a huge win for the Chargers. Huge win. So we'll continue to watch that with a curious side, as our future matchup is still out there. So yeah, you can see the teams going in opposite directions, but the Raiders are better than last year. At least I could still say that. There's so far they still look better than they did last year under AP, and they were still competitive in this game on Monday Night Football. It was too many mistakes, and that's what it came down. Too many mistakes, too much pressure on Geno. Geno trying to do too much with his throws, and Geno throwing too much. To look at stats here real quick, Geno is 24 of 43, which is not very good. 180 yards, that's 4.2 yards per pass. That's terrible. No touchdowns, 3 interceptions, took 3 sacks. He did run the ball 5 times, 20 yards. That's something we haven't seen a lot of from our quarterbacks since the early years of Derek Carr. Ashton Jeanty, 11 carries, 43 yards, 3.9 yards per carry. Better this week than one was last week. But again, still like to see more carries. I don't think we're going to see it for a few weeks yet. Trey Tucker did have a carry for 7 yards. You get Tucker the ball on the edge. You want more than 7 yards, but it is what it is. Zamir White, 2 carries, negative 2 yards, for a grand total of 19 carries for 68 yards. That's between Geno, Jeanty, Tucker, and White. You take Geno out of it, that's 14 carries for 48 yards. It's not enough. It's not enough from our running backs. Need to see more. Need to see at least twice the amount of carries if the game's close enough. And I get it. If the game's not close, you have to pass the ball. I understand that 100%, but the game never felt like it was that far out of hand where we couldn't continue to run the ball. And it was just it was unfortunate because the pass protection sucked ass. And if you're not running the ball, that means you're passing the ball. They're expecting you to pass the ball, and it's just they're just going to continue to rush. There's nothing. Your play action pass isn't going to work if you're not running the ball. And if you're not running the ball, they're rushing. It's just, again, I'm beating a dead horse with this, but it doesn't make sense to me. Jacoby Myers, he had a good game, 6 catches, 68 yards on 12 targets. That's not great, 12 targets, but 6 catches. Brock Bowers, 5 catches, 38 yards. Brock not looking great, not looking crisp on some of his cuts. I was watching a film review yesterday. And the one dude, I can't remember his YouTube channel. I'll have to give him a shout out next show I do. But he does a great job breaking down some film, and he was showing some cuts that Brock Bowers was making And a couple times Gino didn't go to him, or a couple times Gino did go to him. There just wasn't that explosiveness from Brock, or the crispness of his routes. And you could see it. You could see that the leg was hampering him a little bit. But hopefully, as the weeks go on, it gets better and easier for him. Dante Thornton, one catch for 20 yards, and that was early in the game. He had 4 targets. Dylan Labe, 2 catches, 17 yards. Samir White, 2 catches, 15 yards. Trey Tucker, 3 catches, 12 yards, 8 targets for Trey. He was trying to squeeze into him a couple times. Mayer, 2 catches, 9 yards, only 2 targets for Mayer. I think that's a crime right there. They need more targets for Michael Mayer. They talked about it. They said they're going to use Big Mike a lot more, and 2 targets for 9 yards, 2 catches for 9 yards off 2 targets. That's not good enough. That's not enough, and it's unexplainable to me. I don't understand it. Defensively, Devin White, 8 tackles, 6 of them were solo, 1 tackle for loss. Jermaine Pratt, I thought he had a good game. 7 tackles there, 5 solo. Jeremy Chin, he did an all right job tackling, 6 for 6, 1 tackle for loss. Isaiah Polamau, a couple missed tackles, looked ugly on a couple of those missed tackles. Can't have that. He's a big hitter, but open field tackler, not so much. Max, again, like I said, he had a very good game. A couple times getting up too high on the rush, allowing Justin Herbert to kind of step into the lane that he exposed, that he left open by taking that high rush. But besides that, a very good game. Max had a huge tackle there late in the fourth quarter to give the Raiders another opportunity. I thought they were going to call him for offsides, because it was just an absolute hell of a read by him on the snap. Just read that count, anticipated the count, and he was basically in the backfield as Herbert's handing the ball off to Hampton, and Hampton didn't have a chance. His head came up, he saw Max coming, and his arms, if you watch it in slow motion, his arms are already closing on the ball before the ball's actually in his gut. So either, that tells me either he's seeing Max coming and he's trying to rush it, or Herbert wasn't getting back quick enough. I think that he was just rushing it because he saw Max coming. Instead of securing the ball, just taking the 6 yard loss, he was trying to get the ball quick to get out of the way and try to make a play. Sometimes you just gotta die on the hill, instead of continuing to fight. Sometimes you just gotta. I don't even know if that's the right analogy or not, to be honest with you. So, but you know what I'm saying. So sometimes you gotta to live to fight another day. That something like that, where you know what, secure the handoff, take the loss. You still have the ball, time still coming off the clock. Take the next carry. But instead, I feel like he closed his arms too quick on the handoff, and you just seen that the ball was never in his gut, and he didn't have a chance. So, and Jonah Laulu, he had a couple sacks in this game. He looked pretty good. The interior defensive line, I thought did very good. The whole defensive line did. They had a nice goal line stand there. Was that in the fourth quarter? I feel like that might have been the fourth. No, maybe it was in the third. Yeah, it was in the third quarter. It was the third quarter. That was a Dicker 20-yard field goal that made it 20-6 in the third quarter. That was a 12-play, 72-yard drive, and the Raiders finished off the scoring in the fourth quarter with the Carlson 37-yard field goal, made it 20-9. That was a 19-play, 62-yard drive, and that was a killer. That was absolutely a killer. Too many plays, and the drive was too long. Just took the rest of the third quarter and a chunk of the fourth quarter with it. You need to get down the field a lot quicker, bigger chunks. It was just too time consuming, and it was just picking and picking. And they're taking what the Chargers were giving them. I get it, but they had to take a chance, somewhere, and they weren't taking those chances. I think it was on this drive where Gino did take a chance and he missed it. He had a wide open Jacoby Myers at I think it was inside the 10-yard line. I could be wrong there. It's inside the 10 or inside the 15. He was wide open and Gino overthrew it. He overthrew it, and either that would have got them inside the 10 or maybe even a touchdown. There was a couple defenders in the area, but Jacoby Myers, we seen earlier in the game with a couple spin moves, making a couple guys miss. Who knows? He catches that ball, he makes somebody miss, and it could be a touchdown right there instead of we had to settle for a field goal. And also, uh, don't remember which quarter it was, but there was Brock Bowers. Uh, I don't want to say wide open. He did have a defender on him, but Gino, tried to lay it up over the defender or to the back of the end zone for Brock, and he ended up overthrowing it. Instead of, the I thought the analysis on the Monday Night Football, the guys that did that, said it perfectly. If he throws that on the line to Brock, that's a touchdown. There was nobody, coming across no defensive backs coming across to, potentially tip it or intercept it. It was just a nice lane straight downfield. Brock had the body positioning on the defender. And Gino tried laying it up and over for some reason. I don't know what it was. If he throws it on a line, that's a touchdown. So another missed opportunity there. Tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. So going back and looking at team stats, first downs, you had the Chargers 15, Raiders 15 first downs. Third down conversions, the Chargers were 4 of 11, the Raiders were 9 of 18. Not too bad there with the Raiders 9 of 18 at 50%. Not too bad there. Defensively, 4 of 11. I'd take that every week. Plays, Chargers 55 plays to the Raiders 65. Again, those long drives where they're just getting threes. Need touchdowns. If you're going to go on a long drive like that, you need touchdowns. And then again, when I say long drive, the amount of plays, because they weren't long drives. They weren't long drives, just a lot of freaking plays. Total yards, the Chargers 317 to the Raiders 218. Pass yards, Chargers 236 to the Raiders 150. 19 to 27 on pass attempts to completions. Raiders were at 24-43. Rushing yards, the Chargers 81 rushing yards on 26 carries for 3.1 yards per carry. Again, rush defense, I thought it did very good against Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton, the rookie. I thought they did very good there. Those guys carried the ball 16 times for 52 yards, 3.2 yards a carry. Again, I thought they did very good. Herbert, he was able to scramble and get 31 yards on the ground on, I think it was 9 carries, 8 or 9 carries, whatever it was. I don't have that written down. I just have the yards written down. Excuse me. The Raiders, 68 yards rushing on 19 carries, 19 attempts. That's 3.6 yards an attempt. Again, you take 5 of those away for Gino, and it's not enough. Penalties, 6 penalties for the Chargers for 33 yards, 5 penalties for the Raiders for 47 yards. Better job there than they did last week. There was the one call that the officials missed in the fourth quarter. Brock Bowers had a step on the defender. Defender grabs his left arm. No pass interference called there, but one play doesn't make a game, and it could have helped a lot. Not saying the Raiders would have scored on that. Who knows? Maybe the next play Gino throws another interception. Who knows? But definitely a missed call there would have helped a lot. And time of possession, 28 minutes and 17 seconds for Chargers, 31 minutes, 43 seconds for the Raiders. Turnovers, 3 for the Raiders, 1 for the Chargers. And not good. Not good at all. Not good enough to beat a good team like the Chargers. And it's not going to be good enough coming up next week or this upcoming week against the Commanders. Have to do much better. I need to limit the turnovers and control the line of scrimmage. That's what it's going to come down to against the Commanders. If the Raiders are able to go out there, protect the ball, control the line of scrimmage, control the clock, run the damn ball, I feel like there's a good chance that the Raiders can, at very least, keep the game close and, at best case scenario, win the game. Why not, right? The Commanders are a very good team, playoff team last year. Jaden Daniels is banged up. Not even sure he's going to play. He's doubtful right now. So, Adam Glenn checking in. Our old friend Adam Glenn. What's up, buddy? Good to hear from you, Adam. Nice to see you a week or two ago at the soccer game. So if Jaden Daniels doesn't play for the Commanders, you have Marcus Mariota. And Marcus Mariota, very capable backup quarterback. He was a starter for many years in Tennessee. Even played a short time with the Raiders. Did have a start or two with them when I think it was the Derek Carr, Jimmy G. I feel like it was Jimmy G when he was banged up. So a little bit familiar, familiar face there. Uh, Looking at wide receivers, Debo Samuels, Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz having a really good start to the season. Um, and Terry McLaurin getting the big contract there. That was the big talk. The Raiders should go out and get Terry McLaurin, blah, blah, blah. Debo Samuel's a big offseason acquisition for the Commanders as well. Rookie, uh, Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt, a seventh round pick out of Arizona. He's getting the bulk of the carries as oh shit, I can't think of his name right now. The running back for the Commanders, Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler was injured in early in week 2, torn Achilles, and so he's out. Week 2 loss to the Packers. They lost 27-18 or something like that, or 28-17. So one of those scores. I think it was 27-18. So they're coming off a loss. The Raiders coming off a loss. Both teams 1-1. Week 1 win for the Commanders against the Giants. I think that was like 21-6. So that was a little bit of a tight game, but yeah. So we'll see what happens here defensively. Looking at it's a Bobby Wagner led defense. Marshawn Lattimore there in the secondary. Dorrance Armstrong, defensive tackle, a couple sacks already this year. So a couple names to watch out for there. And I'll be putting out some videos probably Friday or Saturday as to my keys of victory. I'm not. It probably won't be a live. Yeah, maybe it will be. I just don't see where I could find the time. If I do a live for the keys to victory for the Raiders versus Commanders, it's going to be very late at night on a Saturday. But more than likely, it's going to be just a video of me just talking about the keys to victory for the Raiders as I finish up taking a look at the Commanders and what I think the strong points and their weak points are, and where I think the Raiders can attack and whatnot. So, all right, Paul Spencer checking in. Our boy Paul from Cowboys Weekly, NFC East War Room, amongst others, college football. He does this, he does that. He makes these awesome overlays, and I do believe he is the lead singer on our opening intro there. Out of the box where the wild ones play. I think that's Paul singing that. He's our lead singer. What's up, Ken? It says, not worried about Raiders defense. They need to get that offense moving. Geno is up and down. No running game. Gente especially. Gente's not getting the carries, Paul. I mean, it's hard to carry. It's hard to get any bulk yardage when you're getting the ball and you're getting hit at the line right away, or you're getting the ball and you're having to make a move right at the line of scrimmage. It's just one of those things. There's no lanes being opened up, no holes being opened up. I said a little bit earlier in the show, I feel like if Jackson Powers Johnson is able to go this week, he was out last week due to concussion he suffered either at practice or at the game the week before. But if he's able to come back, he needs to start at center. He needs to be back at center. Jordan Meredith, this experiment, the Jordan Meredith experiment, I feel like should go no further. You need a steady hand there at center, somebody that's able to communicate and understand what he's communicating. And Alex Kappa cannot start at guard. He cannot start at guard. I feel like one game is enough for Alex Kappa to realize that the season he had last year with the Bengals was not a mirage. The man is incapable. He is it's not what you need there. He's going to get somebody hurt and slow to react. A couple of plays I saw broken down by this guy on YouTube. Again, I can't remember. I don't know if it's True Raider or something, but he breaks down some game film. And there was a couple of times you saw Alex Kappa just looked absolutely ridiculous and just slow to react. There was the one where Gente got a lot of heat for missing a block and pass protection. But in reality, you look at it, Alex Kappa was just slow to slide over and pick a guy up, an inside stunt. It wasn't Gente. It was more so Kappa. But when you're watching it real time, The announcers are watching in real time. They don't have time to really analyze it. It looks like Ashton Genty missed the block when in reality it was not. So Alex Kappa definitely not what we need here. Uh, Paul says it's weird. College they stacked 9 in the box versus Genty. NFL is different, 7 in the box. Is like 15 college players. Yeah, and that's something I mentioned a little bit earlier, Paul. Uh, it's not like week in and week out they face teams like Michigan, Ohio State, or whatever. Again, Boise State is a big time college football program. Not that big time though, where week in and week out they're facing NFL talent. Offensively facing a defensive team that has a bunch of offensive NFL talent. I'm mixing words up here now, but you know what I'm saying. Week in and week out, they're not facing offensive NFL talent on defense. There it is. And so this is all new to Ashton Genty as well. But again, if you rewind back to I believe it was March when I was talking draft on the Silver and Black Lair Raiders here on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. Like, follow, subscribe. When I was talking about it back then, I said Ashton Genty has touched the ball so many times his final year at Boise State that I wouldn't be surprised if he's on some sort of pitch count, whoever picks him. And it seemed like the Raiders were the likeliest team to pick him, and he fell to them, and they picked him. And I feel like that there's a pitch count. I really do. And Pete Carroll says he's good. He likes Genty only getting 10 carries a game right now. And to me, that's a pitch count. When you have somebody coming back off an injury, a pitcher, whether it be Tommy John or shoulder soreness or whatever, throw on a pitch count, 50 pitches, then the next time out, 60 pitches, next time out, 80 pitches, whatever. Like I said earlier in the show, Ashton Genty, I could see him only getting 10 to 15 carries a game up until week 6, 4, 6, 8, somewhere around there. And then after that, maybe 15 to 20. I don't see Ashton Genty. I wouldn't be shocked if this season goes by and Ashton Genty does not have one game where he gets 25 carries. And that's where I feel like we need him to be at 25 carries. But here's the thing. If he's not getting 25 carries, it doesn't mean that the running back position as a whole shouldn't get 25 carries. I mean, it's just, if he's not getting 25 carries, he's getting 10 carries. All right, well, then get Zamir White 8 carries. Get Dylan Labe 7 carries. Get Zamir White 10 carries. Where's Raheem Mostert at? What's going on with that lad? Why is he, being scratched? Is it just that he's not performing at practice? You have more confidence in Zamir White and Dylan Labe? I don't know. But as a whole, the running back room as a whole needs to be between 25 and 30 carries as long as the game is within reach. And like I mentioned earlier, this past Monday night, this game was within reach, and there's no reason that the Raiders running back room should only have 14 carries. There's no reason why, under all the pressure and duress, that Geno Smith should be throwing a ball 43 times, especially with the inaccuracy that he was throwing with. And that's all I heard all week before Monday night was Geno in domes versus Geno outside. Geno's accuracy, it was not there. It was 100% not there. The week before, out in the rain, it was there. 70% completion percentage. But I don't want to see Geno Smith throwing the ball 40 plus times a game. If 30 is a nice number. I think 30 is a nice number. And let's see the running backs between 25 and 30 carries. 60 plays in a game. I'm cool with that. Why we can't get that balance, I don't understand. The game was not out of reach. Paul says, thanks. Now people know I'm a singer. So many times, buddy, we come on here and, you're in the back, you're in the backstage singing and, singing your New Kids on the Block and whatnot. I can't think of any of their songs, the Right Stuff. That song. See, whenever I hear the Right Stuff by New Kids on the Block, right away I go to Weird Al Yankovic singing the White Stuff. In the middle of an Oreo, that white stuff, baby. It's Weird Al all day. Billions of fans can't be wrong about Weird Al. That's all I'm going to say. To all you haters out there, Weird Al's where it's at. Paul. So like I said, Paul says now people know I'm a singer. I was the emergency backup for Backstreet Boys too. Just never got the credit. Yeah, I mean that happens, Paul. That happens to backups. I mean, I'm a Green Day fan. You know, like you say, I'm Metallica, wearing my Metallica shirt, but I'm also a Green Day fan. Back since '95, I guess it was '94, '95, and you know, there's always three of them, and now you see four on stage. But who the hell's the other guy? You know, Trey, Mike, and Billy. But who the hell's the other guy? He never gets any credit. So I mean, every once in a while you see him in an interview, but who the hell is he? Uh, it happens. You know, you hear the fifth Beatle and all that stuff. You know, his name's out there a little bit more than what the fourth member of the Green Day is, but still, you know where we're getting at with this. You know, Millie Vanilli. You know, who was singing? Who was really singing? Oh, I don't know. They don't get any credit. Not saying you're Millie Vanilli there, Paul, but you should be balanced on offense, 60-40, a split at most. Yeah, and it's been way off kilter the first 2 weeks of the season. I feel like they need to get that under control. Going to see Chicago next week here at the War Memorial. Oh, the band Chicago. I'm like you're going to see the Bears at the War Memorial? Like, what the hell are you talking about, Paul? The band Chicago. I got you. Well, there you go. That's a good band from back in the day. There was, I think, the 70s or 80s. I remember my mom listened to Chicago. I can't think of any of their songs off the top of my head now, but I do know they were a big band back then. Yeah, I figured out it was the band, Paul. You're going to see the Bears at the War Memorial. I was like, did they take a wrong turn? Because I believe the Cowboys have the Bears right this week. I could be wrong, but because last night Paul was on the Cowboys Weekly, a Cowboys Weekly show. Check that out. And they had a couple of members of the members from the Bears podcast on their show. So yeah. And he said the Cowboys are playing the Cowboys. So all right. So that's all I have for today. Again, not a terrible game by the Raiders. You see, there's a ton of work to be done yet. You could see where the work needs to be. That interior offensive line, the tackles didn't play that bad. DJ Glaze played okay. You know, he was good enough. Colton Miller, I thought he was very good. But the middle guys, Jordan Meredith, Dylan Parham was terrible. Kappa was worse than terrible. Whatever, I don't know what a word that was putrid maybe is worse than terrible. I don't know. There's a word worse than terrible. I mean, I don't want to use cuss words or anything. Shitty is a word, but I still don't feel like it explains how bad Kappa was. But yeah, it was bad. There was, oh Jesus, I didn't want to bring it up. Like, 'cause I can't remember the exact play or when it happened, but I remember watching the replay of it. But there was a play where we had four offensive linemen blocking two guys, and our quarterback was sacked by the one guy that wasn't being blocked. It just didn't make any sense. And I can't remember if it was Dylan Parham. I feel like it was Parham. No, maybe it was DJ Glaze. It just kind of didn't know what to do with himself, and he kind of just put his hand out to touch one of the two guys being blocked by the three other guys. So that put it 4-on-2, and just left the guy run right by him. It was a delay. It was a delayed blitz, is what it was, and Gino got crushed, and it was terrible, absolutely terrible. Paul, NFL Weekly, 6 p.m. Dan and I, and NFL Thursday pregame 7:30 and postgame 11:45. So that's tonight. So all you people out here watching right now, tonight NFL Weekly at 6 p.m. with Paul and Dan. NFL Thursday pre-show 7:30 and the postgame 11:45 p.m. all Eastern times by Paul. So be sure to check those out tonight. So yeah, again, lots of shows here on Out of the Box Sports. If you're interested in hosting a show, reach out to us. I would appreciate it very much. Follow us on X, our new Twitter handle, at Box Sports ENT. So that's at BOXSPORTSENT. You could say it a bunch of different ways. That's at Box Sport Cent or at Box Sports Ent. So it's Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. Get it? At Box Sports Ent. So at BOXSPORTSENT. That's our new Twitter handle. You can follow me at SB_Lair_OOTBE. That's Silver and Black Lair Raiders and LA Kings. I'll be starting the LA Kings podcast back up here in the next week or two as players are going to start reporting to camp. And I'll be talking, Adrian Kempe contract stuff. Anze Kopitar, looks like his final season this year. I'm going to try to get out to Philly to see the Kings versus Flyers at the very least. I want to see Kopitar play before he retires. And we'll talk about a myriad of other LA King type stuff when I start that show back up. But right now we're talking Raiders. So if you want to help me out, head on over to www.w.gg. W Energy Drink. I got some great energy drinks there, powdered stuff. So you're mixing it yourself. It's the Jitterless Energy Drink made with coffee fruit extract. Use my discount code, The Bat Cave. It's all one word. The Bat Cave. TheBatCave. The Bat Cave. All one word for 10% off your order. So yeah, and be sure to check us out on Facebook, Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube at OOT Box Sports on YouTube. Give us a like and follow there. Very much appreciated. And before I get out of here, I got a couple more comments. Paul says, I think it wasn't Parm, whoever the other guy. It was a delayed blitz. Yeah, I don't think it was Parm. Now I look back, I think it was DJ Glaze. It was an end line guy, because I just remember watching like, what the hell's he doing? But I feel like there was nobody rushing over him, so he kind of just took a couple steps over towards the guard and kind of just put his hand and stood straight up and put his hand out like, well, okay, I guess I'm just doing this. And then the delay blitz just ran right by him. I mean, it was extremely frustrating to watch that play. I'm like you got to be shitting me, bro. So tough one. Paul says, great show, buddy. Sorry, but I did take the Commanders. You gotta get here. Penguins versus Kings, closer than Philly for you. No, Philly's 2 hours away. Pittsburgh's 4.5, 5 hours. So Philly's much closer. Philly's 2 hours. Washington's 2 hours. New Jersey Devils, they're 2 hours. New York Rangers, 2.5 hours. They're all closer than Pittsburgh. But I would like to get out to Pittsburgh, see a game there, whether it be baseball or hockey. So we'll see what happens. I'll have to look at the schedule and see when it happens. Kimberly Blum, and Kim checking in. She says, good show, Ken. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for checking it out. I appreciate it. Tell all your friends. Paul says, if I'm driving, it's faster. Yeah, if you're driving, yes, it is faster if you are driving. I will say that for a fact. And I will make sure to check my blood pressure while we're going. It's the heart will be pumping at an extra high rate, I believe. All right, so that's all I have for today. Thank you, everybody, for checking me out. And like I said, I'll put on another video. I'm not sure if it'll be a live video or a short with Keys against the Commanders. I'm going to try to go live probably Saturday night, but we'll see what time. I'm available. My daughter does have a softball tournament and some soccer stuff this weekend, but also Slayer is in Hershey, and not a big Slayer fan. I never really got into Slayer, but I would like to see Slayer play before they hang up their guitars. So we'll see what happens. Slayer, Exodus. I think I don't know if it's Poppy or whoever, somebody else is playing there. So she should be interesting. Damian Priest from the WWE is hosting it. So you got wrestling, you got rock and roll, and Hershey bars, and what the hell? You can't beat that. That's a hell of a Saturday night. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So if I don't do that, I will come live and do my keys to victory for the Raiders over the Commanders. And the Raiders will be 2-1 after Sunday. We'll see what happens. I'm just playing. We'll see what happens. All right. Thank you, everybody. And I'll talk to you later. And like always, just win, baby. See it.
dreams yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought, a touchdown mind. Out of the box every time. No limits, no change, no walls to climb.